This woman is extraordinarily woke, as everyone is in Hollywood, but she's woke in a way that's quite direct.
I don't need your business. Thanks.
Rachel Zegler was supposed to believe is just so striking that even the supermodel like Gal Gadot is supposed to be homicidically jealous of her. I mean, we're supposed to completely suspend our disbelief.
Yeah. Weird.
And be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after. No, you should want to be the prince. You should want to go out and fight the bad guys with a sword. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
Tonight, we examine a Hollywood transformation so fast it left industry veterans dizzy. Last year, Rachel Zegler graced magazine covers as the new face of cinematic promise. Today, she trends for all the wrong reasons. Rumored on-set clashes, a blockbuster disaster, and whispers of an unofficial blacklist.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
How does a 20-something actress go from Spielberg muse to studio liability in the time it takes to stream a trailer? Let's follow the timeline, one headline at a time. It begins like a fairy tale tailored to the TikTok era. A teenager uploads an audition video, belts "Tonight" from West Side Story, and within weeks lands in Steven Spielberg's office. The legendary director handpicks Rachel from 30,000 hopefuls and casts her as Maria in his high-profile remake.
I mean, people thought my whole trajectory was fake, and sometimes I wake up and I think my whole trajectory is fake, but it's just a testament to taking chances.
Critics swoon. Early screening chatter calls her voice lightning in a bottle. Entertainment pages dub her Hollywood's next golden girl. On red carpets, Rachel seems wide-eyed and grateful, telling reporters, "Sometimes I wake up and think my whole trajectory is fake." Social media eats it up, hashtags celebrating her Colombian-Polish roots trend for days. So far, so perfect. Yet even as the praise crescendos, faint dissonance echoes backstage. Anonymous crew members hint the newcomer isn't shy about voicing strong opinions, sometimes stronger than a first-timer's usually allowed.
She got the role not because she was a great singer, she got the role because she's a fantastic actor.
One story claims she halted a dance sequence to debate choreography notes. Another alleges she objected to costume choices, insisting certain silhouettes failed to honor the character. At first, fans waved off such murmurs as garden variety set gossip. Passion, after all, fuels performance. But seasoned Spielberg collaborators noticed friction building where harmony normally reigns. What happened next remains industry lore whispered in studio corridors. Sources say Spielberg, long praised for guiding young talent from Drew Barrymore to Christian Bale, grew exasperated by constant pushback.
People like me who watched Disney princess movies when the world was okay and it was acceptable for us to dream about being a princess as a woman and meeting a handsome prince. But oh no, these big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince?
One insider quotes him labeling Rachel horrible to work with. The director himself never confirmed the remark, but observers noted a chilling contrast. During press tours, Spielberg lavished co-star Ariana DeBose with detailed praise, calling her work mesmerizing. When asked about Rachel, he offered polite phrases and moved on. In Hollywood, absence of endorsement can sound louder than applause. Even with that tension, West Side Story earned critical love.
And the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
Box office returns were modest, but pandemic cinema was rocky for everyone. Disney executives, seeking a new princess with Gen Z sparkle, saw no warning signs. They inked Rachel to headline a $250 million live-action Snow White. The strategy looked bulletproof. Timeless IP plus a rising star equals guaranteed franchise. What could go wrong? Plenty, as it turns out. Production tweaks leaked early. The Seven Dwarfs would become mythical forest beings. The iconic love story focus trimmed. Online purists grumbled but kept hopes high. Then Rachel gave an interview calling the 1937 prince a stalker and labeling the original film creepy. The soundbite detonated on social media. Disney nostalgia groups accused her of disrespecting a classic. Hashtag #not my Snow White surged. Meme pages stitched her comments onto clips of unimpressed Snow White park performers. Still, studio marketing rolled forward, banking on curiosity. Release weekend delivered a nightmare. Reviews slammed the remake as politically calculated and charm deficient. Opening numbers landed far below projections, and by week 2, the drop-off spelled catastrophe. Internal Disney memos reportedly used the phrase emergency triage. Analysts blamed mixed messaging, creative overhauls, and yes, those viral Rachel clips.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of like, I don't know, vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing, before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
Traditionally, a star in this position pivots to humility, apology interviews, heartfelt tweets, maybe a goodwill tour on talk shows. Instead, Rachel pointed to outside distractions.
Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
The unexpected success of the Minecraft movie siphoning family audiences. Internet culture pounced. TikTok edits showed blocky creepers stomping animated princesses while text read, "Snow White lost to pixels." Rather than cooling tempers, the deflection stoked them. Viewers wanted accountability, not arithmetic. Behind the curtain, box office poison quickly becomes professional risk. Studio casting teams, whose spreadsheets track press sentiment as keenly as acting range, started removing her name from tentative lead lists. The logic is ruthless. If Spielberg struggled and Disney lost hundreds of millions, why roll those dice? Agents felt the chill. One producer told me confidentially, "There's buzz she needs a reputation reset before any tentpole will touch her." And then there's the Spielberg factor. Hollywood's an ecosystem where relationships outrun resumes. When its most influential director appears to distance himself, the signal travels fast. Combine that with Disney's financial bruises, and you have the ingredients for an unspoken blacklist. Not a public ban, but an eerie silence when your name arises in casting rooms. Yet history shows collapse doesn't have to be final. Robert Downey Jr. resurrected a career left for dead. Drew Barrymore pivoted chaos into relatability. The blueprint features 3 steps: humility, smaller projects, and undeniable talent on screen. For Rachel, that might mean an indie musical at Sundance instead of another 9-figure fairy tale. It might require a candid sit-down where she owns missteps rather than blames algorithms. Hollywood loves resurrection almost as much as it loves schadenfreude, but only when the star participates in the rebuild. There's also a broader conversation here about internet outrage velocity. In a pre-TikTok era, a misquote traveled slowly. Damage control could outrun rumor. Today, a single comment becomes global commentary in hours. Young actors arrive to sets with fan armies and critics already assembled. Navigating that minefield takes not only talent, but media savvy and perhaps a thicker skin than ever demanded of classic starlets. So, is Rachel Zegler finished? Hardly. She's under 30, commands vocal power few can match, and remains a household name. For better or worse. But the next career chapter depends on whether she can translate raw ability into collaborative professionalism and public empathy. If she doubles down on deflection, she risks cementing the narrative others have written. If she leans into humility, the same platforms that blasted her could applaud a comeback. That leaves us with a question only time can answer. Will Rachel Zegler become the cautionary footnote whispered in acting classes, or the Phoenix headline Hollywood touts as proof of its forgiving heart? While we wait, the industry moves on, studios recalibrate casting bets, and fans scroll for the next redemption arc or the next downfall. Where do you stand? Does her talent overshadow the turmoil, or did the Prince stalker soundbite break the spell for good? Let us know in the comments. Hit subscribe for more deep dive reports on Hollywood's swift ascents and even swifter retreats. And tap the bell so you don't miss the next star who flies too close to the Klieg lights. In show business, the plot always thickens, sometimes overnight. And remember, this story stretches far beyond a single performer. Hollywood itself now faces an uneasy reckoning. How does an industry that trades on controlled fantasies survive when every misstep is amplified in real time and dissected frame by millions of amateur critics? Studios can no longer rely on choreographed press junkets alone. They need leading actors who can steer live Q&As, navigate unfiltered Twitter spaces, and pivot gracefully when an offhand remark morphs into a trending hashtag. The PR rulebook of the last century issue a statement, wait out the news cycle, fails when the news cycle is measured in minutes. In that environment, one ill-advised joke or tone-deaf comment doesn't merely dent a single marketing campaign, it can vaporize hundreds of millions in projected franchise revenue. We're also seeing a shift in gatekeeping power. Before TikTok, a handful of critics and entertainment editors determined whether a performance was labeled triumphant or middling. Today, that verdict is crowdsourced. Swarms of micro-influencers stitch together interview clips, add sarcastic captions, and declare a verdict overnight, often before the first formal review drops. It's democratizing, but also unforgiving. And it means future stars, especially those shepherded into billion-dollar IP, must treat every microphone as a potential minefield. Even genuine attempts at humor can be time-stamped, remixed, and reframed as arrogance. The public has little patience for nuance when the next outrage clip is already buffering. Still, the narrative isn't locked. Rachel could land a modestly budgeted streaming musical, stun critics, and reboot her brand into Comeback Kid. Stranger turnarounds have etched Hollywood lore. Mickey Rourke, Winona Ryder, Brendan Fraser, each found an indie champion or prestige series that reframed the public lens. If Rachel pairs her vocal chops with an intimate script, perhaps a festival dark